that students in our classrooms, young people, the ones that we get, aren't part of a Henry Ford system of being part of car manufacture. In a Fordist world, we sort of think that what we want to do is to make identical products with efficiency and efficacy. But education isn't like that, where we try to remember that what we have is a variety of individuals. Already we're talking about the difficulties of integration for arts in the everyday mainstream classroom. But what about a special educational needs classroom in the mainstream? So I just want to do a quick scan of the audience, please. If you think, even without knowing there is a diagnosis or any kind of testing, that you probably have had somebody in your room or in your classroom who has special educational needs. It could be that you sort of look at them and you think, people think that they're disruptive. Actually, they're not. They just need a different approach. And maybe you thought, well, this might be a student who's not paying attention because they can't, but actually they have special educational needs. Can I have a show of hands if you think you might have had? Thank you so much, everyone. So we've all encountered this. But the question is this: what is our objective in the schools? So in mainstream schools, and I'm going to make this as a qualification right from the start. I'm talking about a mainstream school, not specialized academies for students who perhaps have got higher spectrum problems in terms of special needs or in terms of sensory disabilities or impairments. Here we're talking about students who are high on cognition. What my fellow speaker, my guest speaker earlier said, that at the end of the day are cognitively very embodied, enabled, but the school doesn't give them what they need. So what do we do? How can arts help us in the classroom? So the objective I want us to bear in mind is that we're here to provide a safe space for children, and to where their thoughts are respected, and they have the confidence to express their individual identities. Because that's what all school systems across the world desire through school policies, to give children equality of opportunity, giving them a fair chance. And this is a magic word. It's not about actualization based on a set of norms that society alone wants, but also to give them self-actualization for success in society, becoming and allowing them to be both moral, cognitive, and thinking and feeling human beings. So, high-functioning SEN learners, it's an assumption we have. We sort of think, okay, the individuals in our mainstream schools don't need intervention, but I would suggest to you that there is a need for intervention, because many may need help in thinking and learning intervention, so arts can provide that. Many individuals who are special educational needs students may need help for emotion and behavior regulation, and the arts integration can help you with that. Some of them might have speech, language, and communication difficulties, and something like seeing the world, sensing the world, feeling the world, and being able to respond to color, sensation, and experience might help them. Others may have physical and sensory difficulties, but with the use of the arts, you're moving them out of a set of very traditional ways of looking at the classroom and enabling and empowering them in mainstream schools. So, mainstream schools can be powerful places where a meaningful and well-planned curriculum and non-curricular intervention can take place. So, clubs, societies after school, dance, like the beautiful dance that you saw that welcomed us today, all these things. But inside the classroom, you can do this too. But I have a thought for us. How do we then make sure all of us in this room can do this? You may think, oh, but I'm not trained. But the beauty of the creative arts is this. We ask ourselves, we allow individuals to tap into alternative forms of expression. But at the same time, you are learning attention, motor skills, and in some cases, the most common kinds of SEN that you might encounter in your mainstream schools might be dyslexia, Asperger's syndrome, ADHD, concentration issues. But instead of being the student at the back of the class who is disruptive because their attention is not being kept, you're going to find that using arts might liberate these individuals and give students some other outlet for expression that then empowers them in the classroom. So, what are we looking at? So, typical teaching methods which focus on learning, just seeing or listening, always help SEN students because SEN students need extra support. And this extra support is by motor skills refinement. They need doing refinement, learn, even the ones very cognitively high on the spectrum and on tests really, really well, but yet at the same time, attention, deficiency, all these things are there. So artistic activities, as we remember there's not one shade of green, there's 49 shades out there. There's not one shade of red. Let's do an experiment. Everybody, look around the room, ask, how many shades of white do you see? So, if you see more than one, please put up your hand. How many? Precisely. If you think you see more than 5 shades of white, put up your hand. Precisely, because there's a whole spectrum out there. And what we're doing with arts integration is to allow students with special educational needs to have one more empowering agency in the classroom through the senses, hearing, smelling, touching. And particularly, our case studies are going to show that in a moment. So music and movement programs can help learners to find healthy outlets. Drumming is an alternative form of expression. Even your high cognitive students may want to express ideas, may find that there is a release for language and communication by drumming, by percussion, by being able to learn to find rhythm and look and respond to the rhythms of life. Because that will then empower their imagination to not make them think that because I don't like the way that the traditional classroom works, somehow I'm not going to have self-actualization. Now, here's the problem, of course, and this is just a bite-sized observation for us, because there's so many things that we can talk about in this area. Specialized training is always needed, because what we need to remember is for even arts integration, as the colleague pointed out, for the use of English language with the arts integration, you need pedagogical mind shifts. You need to adjust your pedagogy and to accommodate learners. Sometimes national boards and certifications. Other times there are other certifications that you can achieve as part of personal development or our professional development. Also, it's now become very popular, especially in places like Singapore, where you have mainstream individuals inside mainstream schools alongside SEN learners for them to be experienced practitioners coming in, so that in-school teaching can help used to enhance teacher training, because teacher capacity building. And I think all the esteemed gentlemen and speakers before have reminded us of our time. Teachers have limited time, so where do we train and how do we train? So just a reminder, teaching students is never a one-person show, simply because it's about the team. It's working with other teachers that amplifies your impact and that can make you allow students to become more enabled, and especially so when you have special needs students. And here's a tiny reminder, a quotation for you from the Center for Research for Child Development. The adage that it takes a child to raise, the adage that it takes a village to raise a child is true, especially for the support of children with SEN in schools. Special expertise is needed to guide the children. However, everyone can play a part, and everyone needs to play a part. So that's something for us to think about. And what can we do? Like with the art example that we talked about, we want ownership of your own stories. We want local storytelling to remain. We want authentic embodied narratives by allowing the child in the drama classroom, for instance, to experiment, and there are ways to teach collaboration, ways for SEN students to learn how to belong to communities and to work with other people. So here's a case study for you from theatre. We can use identifiable scenarios in individuals with SEN in an integrated classroom. You can use scaffolded instructions, step by step, staggered ways. So everything is chunked up, everything is bite-sized. And then there's the whole idea of deliberate instruction, knowing exactly what you want to say, why you say it, so you don't get the sort of feedback we got about the student engagement from our last paper presenter, that the student said the instructions were unclear. And finally, the idea of show and tell. So, it allows us to use feedback to get where we want. And we can also use alternative code for sketching and whatnot. So I want to show you these pictures. There are SEN students performing alongside other students with different enablements. You can share and grow inclusively, and I'm going to show you this only a little bit of it, and SEN students then can work. Okay. Let's see if the video will play. Okay, seems to be having problems. I'm going to bypass, and I'm going to hand over to my colleague, who's going to tell us a little bit more about a case study from creative writing, which also empowers us to do the same thing. Dr. Pillay, please. So thank you very much. That was about the idea of SEN with drama and movement. Now we move on. Thank you.